Hello. Mm. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. And a very big welcome to the Friday night Hangout. Let's see who is on. Let me wait for some minutes to have some more people come in. We have a very interesting team for the month of May. Yeah, I see the first person in. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome in, welcome in. At this, please help me put this up. Good evening, welcome, welcome. Once you come in, please, can you put in thank God it's Friday and where you're joining in from? Can you put where you're joining in from? Thank God it's Friday and where you're joining in from. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to see your thank God it's Friday, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, TGIF. Welcome, Judeka. Nice to see you. I see your dancing steps. Yes, yes, yes. Thank God it's Friday. Yes, welcome, 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 welcome. I want to see your TGIF. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Watching from Enugu. Welcome, Judeka. Welcome, 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 welcome. I want to, oh, Chidima, welcome, 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 welcome. All right, so we're going to go right into our conversation. I'll just be, as we say in Nigeria, I'll be hailing you as you come in, right? I want to make this conversation as fun and interactive as possible. So a very big, big welcome to you. The month of May is a huge month for us on the Friday night Hangout, right? It's a very huge, exciting month for us on the Friday night Hangout. I remain your host, Joy Onyesoh, and I'm super excited to welcome you to this episode in the month of May. This is actually our first episode in the month of May. So this is our first time seeing in the month of May formally. So welcome in. And in this month of May, we're going to be talking on the basics of business development. Welcome, Jennifer. Welcome. So if you have someone who needs to be here that is not here, please remind the person to come right in. Thank you for the wave, Jennifer. Thank you. Remind the person to come on in so we can have this conversation. So we're going to be talking about the basics of business development, the basics of business development. And this is very interesting and very apt. So if you are already in business, you will find a lot of nuggets in the conversation we're going to be having the whole of May. If you're just about starting, or if you've just recently started, don't worry, I got you covered. We're going to have interesting conversation, and I want you to make it very interactive. You know, I got my second phone so I can just be checking out who is coming in because I find that I can't see most of the comments, right? So I have this one to check in. So pardon me if you see me, my eyes flickering the other way. I'm going through my second phone to see who is in the room and just to say hi. So we're going to be having conversation tonight on the basics of business development, and in fact throughout the month of May. So from now to the end of May, our conversation will be centered around the basics of business development. Sometimes we call ourselves vendor entrepreneurs. We're all in business, and it's important to know how to grow that business. So I'm a coach, I'm a business coach. I'm also a personal development coach. So when I say I'm a business development coach, what I do is to help you understand your business, identify your strengths, and also identify how you can grow while making profits. So for the month of May, we're going to be having that conversation. So I want you, if you don't have your pen, your paper, please do get it. You want to take notes, you want to be active, you want to ask questions, and please, you know how we roll on the Friday night Hangout. Feel free to ask me your questions, right? Feel free to put in your questions in the chat box. But if you're just joining in, please, I want to see where you're joining in from. So just thank God it's Friday and tell me where you're joining in from. Welcome, Rosemary. I see you. Let me know where you're all joining in from. Good. So I'll go right into the conversation. And I want to start off by just saying, um, I will try to define very loosely what business development is all about. I want to break it down so that you understand. When you hear me talking about business development, you can wrap your head around what I am really referring to. So when I talk about business development, what I'll be talking about for the month of May is a set of activities, the ideas, the initiatives that help you to grow your business in the long term and also help you to have profitability. So you're not just growing your business, you're also making profits. And really, it's around three key areas. Three key areas. So the first areas is looking at how to increase the value of your current customer base. So whenever you're talking about business development, you want to be sure that you can increase the value you give to your current customer base. The second thing you want to do is to be sure that you are creating meaningful partnerships. And the third thing you want to do is to um, just look at how you can move or expand your business markets. What kind of markets do you want to go into? Now, when we are going to talk about these three key things for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to talk about them for each week. So, the next week, I'm going to pick up how you can increase the value you give to your current customer base. That we're going to discuss next week. And then after next week, we're going to discuss how you can create meaningful partnerships. And then the final week, we're going to talk about how you can expand your market visibility, what you need to be doing, what new markets you need to enter. But then there are critical questions you need to ask yourself before you decide that it's time for you to expand your market base. You also need to ask yourself what you need to understand what your market ecosystem is. So when we talk about an ecosystem, here I'm referring to all the activities, all the value chain that is within that your domain. For instance, if you are into fishery, maybe you farm fish. Now, your ecosystem, which you look at some of the value chain in that thing, would be um, the rearing of the fish, the selling of the fish, the processing of the fish. All those different activities that happen with around the fish business. I hope you get that. I really want to make it so simple so we can understand. And I want you, as we're having this conversation, begin to think about that business idea you have that you want to bring to life. Or if you're already in an existing business, begin to see your business in the conversation and look at how you can take some valuable nuggets, some valuable words, some valuable tidbits here that you can apply to your business. Because at the end of the day, what I would really love to see is that you take some of the conversation we have here and you can adapt it and apply it to your business, right? You can apply it to your business, and that is key. Please, if at any point I'm saying things or using terminologies you don't understand, put it in the chat box and I would read through and respond to you. Okay. Now, I've told you, I've talked about what a business development is. Is a process, actually. It's all that set of activities, ideas, all the things you do to ensure that your business grows in the long term. It's not just now. What will your business look like 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 4 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years? And then how are we going to ensure that you're making profits as you are growing? You're making profits as you're expanding. Because as an entrepreneur, as a vendor, one of the things you want to do is to give value and get reward. The reward will be non-monetary rewards and monetary rewards. The monetary rewards are the profits you make. Okay. Now, oftentimes you will hear about audio businesses. What does that mean? We hear that a lot on social media. Oh, this business is an audio business. This business is a fancy business. Let me be candid with you. A lot of businesses are not making profits. They're just in existence for different reasons. One, maybe the owner is sentimentally attached to the business and has other sources of income and is just pouring it into the business to keep it afloat. But the business itself is not generating enough fund to keep it alive. And that is the essence of our conversation in the month of May. We want to talk about how can we ensure that the business we create can generate enough income to sustain it, and not only sustain it, give you profits. You need to be able to make profits. I've told you what we're going to discuss for the next 3 weeks. Now, for tonight, I'm going to concentrate on the starting point, assuming that you're a newbie. You are just about to start a business, you haven't started a business. But let me also remind you that even if you're in business currently, you will find a lot of value in our conversation tonight. So you can go back to your business, apply it. If there are areas where there are gaps, you can actually go to close that gap. The idea is we keep winning together, we keep winning. And then if you have things you're engaged in, practices or processes that has worked for you in your business, please do share in the chat box as we have conversation, so that our sisters and brothers on this conversation can also learn from you. And that's what the Friday night hangout platform is all about. Good evening, Becky. Welcome. Good to see you. Good evening, Chinyere. Good evening, Ifoma. Good evening, Esther. Nice to have you here. And please let me know where you're joining in from. Now, so it's important that we share. We like to share, right? So put it in the chat box and then we can all learn from you, because business development is key. Whether you call yourself a vendor or you call yourself an entrepreneur, you want to make sure that your business is growing and you want to make sure that your business is bringing in profits. Now, the first step I'll ask everyone to do is, if you have an idea of any business you want to do, the first step I'll ask you to do is to research, research, research. I'll say that again. Research, research, research. You cannot beat research. I know that oftentimes we're too lazy to do the work. We want to give it out to people to do. We want to contract it out. I don't have a problem with that, because you may not have the skill set to conduct that research, but you need to be involved in the process, because at the end of the day, it's your vision and you're the one that is going to implement it. It's your idea, it's your passion. You want to birth it, and you need to be involved from the beginning. The foundation of your business will determine if the business will grow or not. It's just like when you want to build a house. The foundation of the house will determine if your house is going to be rock solid, if your house is not going to have cracks. Haven't you seen some buildings, I've seen that a lot, that when you have, in fact, it happened to the old structure we had in the village home. And when we got the architect, the builder, to check it out, he said the foundation was already weak, was already shaky. And so that happens to a lot of businesses. So if you do not start with a rock solid foundation, you would grow a business that is shaky, that cannot be sustained, and eventually becomes an audio business. You'll just be pouring in money, pouring in time, pouring in energy, and you're not getting value out of it. So the essence of setting up a business is, 1, you want to give value, 2, you want to make profit, 3, you want to leave a legacy, and others. But these 3 key things must be part of the reasons of you going into any business. Okay, so if you're not there to give value, if you're not there to create change, good evening, Ezine. Good evening, Fina. Nice to have you here. Thank you for joining in. So if you're not interested in creating value, if you're not interested in making profits, and if you're not interested in creating a legacy, then you have no business being an entrepreneur or a vendor, right? Aside the fact that, of course, you must be willing to take risk. Every business endeavor, no matter how well designed it is, there's always an element of risk involved. Now, this is where your research comes into play. The first thing you need to do is to do a research to understand that your industry. If you're in the food industry and you want to carve a particular niche, perhaps you want to go into processed food or you want to go into food stuff, you need to study the industry, especially in a climate like Nigeria. You cannot just wake up and jump into a business because you have the money. No, it's not going to work. What is worth doing is worth doing very well. And research is not only for when you want to start a business, mark you. At every stage of your business, you must constantly be researching. And then you may ask me, what am I researching on? Beautiful. The first thing you want to research on is that industry you're doing. what is obtainable in the industry, who are the key players in the industry. You cannot go into any business without knowing who are the key players. You're not the first person breaking ground in that business. So you want to know what other people are doing. You want to know because you want to be able to carve a niche for yourself. And one of the ways of carving a niche, one of the ways of creating a market for yourself is at looking what everyone else is doing and seeing what the weakness or the gaps are. And then if that is your strength, you can leverage on that and that becomes your niche. It could be in terms of even service delivery. They have products, but in terms of service delivery, in terms of customer value, in terms of giving value to their customer base, those are some of the gaps you notice. And that could be your own entry point. That could also be your own leverage in the market. So you need to study that market. You need to study the industry. You need to know what is obtainable and who the key players are and who their target audience are. Right? Now, the second thing you need to do after studying the industry is also be very clear. Be very, very clear as to who your target audience is. Who is your target audience? Hello. Welcome, Barrister Nkiru. Welcome, Onyesoh. Nice to have you here. You need to make sure who your target audience is. Listen, if you're selling to everybody, you are selling to no one because your product or your services cannot be for everyone. So even in the way you message, even in the way you put out yourself, you create visibility for yourself, you need to be speaking to your target audience. Let me give us an example. Now, I sent out key messages to some of my friends, my colleagues. I needed them to join in to support a project I was doing. And I know they had the capacity to support, and I really needed their support in the project. And I sent it out. I just said, dear colleague, this is that, and I sent it out. Now, there were two key persons I was expecting to jump on board, and they didn't. And I felt bad. I was like, why? And I reached out directly. I said, I sent you a message. Didn't you see my message? And he said to me, he said, yeah, I saw the message, but you weren't speaking to me. You were speaking to all of us. And I felt that if you needed to catch my attention, you need to speak to me. At that point, I said, I'm sorry, but I learned a valuable lesson there. Even though your product or service is for even a target group of people, you need to make them feel like you are talking to them. You know how you go to church and your pastor is on the pulpit preaching, and when he's speaking, in your spirit, you just feel that the pastor is looking at you and talking to you, talking to your situation. That is how you want your customers to feel each time you're speaking to them, each time you write a message for them. You want those who you are targeting to feel that you are speaking to them, you are connecting with them. And the only way you can create that connection is when you do your research properly. You need to know what they want. Where are they? Where can you find them? Social media is broad, my dear. So where exactly do they stay? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Where can you find your target audience? Or are your target audience offline? You have a majority of them offline? Then you need to know that. Because you can't be selling to people who are not your target audience. You need to find out where you can find your target audience, and you need to be in their face in a nice way. Once you're speaking to their pain area, what they need from you, and you're telling them how you can make sure they get that, you're going to get to them. So this is really very important. Very, very important. And that is what research helps you to do. Now, the third thing is that we want to be sure that that business idea is feasible. In the long term, it's feasible. You're able to make profit, to generate profit. Because yes, you can generate income from a business, but is the business profitable? When you deduct all your costs, are you able to have a profit out of it? What will your profit margin look like? And sadly, I see a lot of women-owned businesses. We do not take time to do this. We do not take time to calculate our margin. We just think it's bring out capital and you just start buying, selling. No, my dear. What will happen is in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, your business becomes stressed. It will become fatigued. You know how human beings become fatigued and you break down. Businesses become fatigued and they break down. And that's when the businesses die, right? That's when the businesses die. So statistics have it that most businesses die off within the first 2 to 3 years of their existence. Most businesses die between the first 2 to 3 years of their businesses. At least 50 to 60% of the businesses will go off at that point. And then by the time it's 5 years, the other 20 or 15% would have gone off. So you have just very few businesses. Just a second, please. Let me change over. I think this is giving a little bit of problem. Just a second. Stay with me. Just give me a few minutes and I'll... Yeah, so it's important that you're able to calculate your profit margin. How do you do that? Even your time. Most times when we're calculating, we don't calculate the time we put into the business. Now, it's easier for people who have products to do that, because what you do is you calculate, your purchase cost, all your stuff, and you put it in there. But now you do not put in that time you used to go to the market, that time you used to put it together, that time you as the business owner spend in the business. How much percentage you ascribe to that? Most women-owned business do not put a time to that. It's even more severe for businesses who deal on intellectual property or like coaching business. I'm a coach. And so for many coaches, I see some of the challenge they have. Coaches, consultants, trainers, they fall into this niche. I hear questions like, how do I quantify my time? How do I value my time? How do I know what to charge for my time? Because some people tell you, oh, you're charging so much. It is too much. It is too much. My dear, it's easy for people to say it is too much, but you need to look at the time you spend. So if you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're a trainer, you're a facilitator, it's also important that you quantify this. One thing I would say is look around your industry, whatever industry you are in the coaching business, in the consulting business, in the training business, look around you. What do people charge? People that have the same skill set like you do and operating on that level. Mark you, they're different levels. Of course, good evening, Lovette. Nice to have you. Of course, there are different skill sets you're coming into the business with. You want to know your skills. You need to be realistic with yourself. I do know that what will have the entry price. Your research will enable you to know what will your entry price look like. So you don't just come into the business and you want to start charging like someone that has been in the business for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. Let me tell you something. Even if you feel people are not seeing you, you don't have enough customers, every day you stay in business, you're building credibility. You're building a track record, right? You're building a track record, you're building credibility. And do not overlook that process. Do not downplay it. It's very important. And that's why some people say that they want business, they want to deal with businesses. Some partnership will say, I want to deal with a business that is 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We can't enter into partnership with you if you've not been in business for so number of years. Why? There's a level of experience, credibility that comes with those number of years. So please do your research and make sure that you're building research points at every point of your business. It could be periodic, quarterly, biannually, annually, so that you're building a solid base for your business. You know what your customer wants. You're open to listening to them. You can now know what your profit margin would look like. Give it your time. What does 1 hour of yourself look like? I have fees that I charge for different clients. I've graded my clientele into different. I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, and I'm a trainer. I'm also a researcher. And so for all these elements of my business, I have different pricing for them. And I have different pricing for different target audience. There are some target audience I do pro bono services. I don't ask for payment. For instance, for the Friday night hangout, this is content. This is valuable content I'm putting out here. Ordinarily, I would charge for this if it's coming through a client, through a particular setup. If there's an entry point you come to, I charge you for this. But I'm giving this out free. This is my way of giving back. So you need to have that. Know what you want to give out for free. Know what you want to charge for. And please value your time. You will teach people how to value you. Then you need to be sure that you're giving value. How can you give value? How do you know you're giving value? It comes back to your business goal. What is the reason of you being in that business? If your being in business is strictly for money, my dear, you can't go far. You can't go far. Your business is not going to last. Your business is going to crumble because you're focused on the money. Money is important. You want to be profitable. Good evening, Informa. Good evening, Theodora. Nice to have you. Good evening, Madam Nike. Nice to have you in here. Yes, money is important, but money alone cannot drive your business. There are other valuable content you can drive your business with, like what I'm doing right now. This is value. So if I come up with content and say, oh, I'm selling this and there's a price to this, you will be willing to pay for that, right? Now, there are two types of value that you can give to your customer. You can give them the non-monetary value and the monetary value. Now, the non-monetary value are some of the things perhaps by reason of what you dish out to them, like what I'm doing with you now. You might not be able to place a value on this in terms of money because I'm not charging you. But it has a lot of weight because you're going to improve your skills, you're going to improve your knowledge base. And what would happen is that you can use what you've gained from our conversation tonight to get monetary value. Are you getting me? You can use your non-monetary value that you give to your clients and help them to get monetary value. And the monetary value is when people say, okay, if you buy 10 of this, you get 500 naira discount, you get 1,000 naira discount. That is monetary value you're giving out, right? So you need to be very clear, and this is what your research does for you. You know your competitors, who they are, where they are, what they're doing, your target audience. You're very clear, very specific where they are, and then you come into developing your plan, your business plan. You can't jump into doing a business plan without doing a research. So if you already have a business and you do not, Ozema says, what's the passion? I don't understand the question. Please, can you explain further so I understand what you mean by what is the passion, right? If you don't have a business plan, then it's really difficult for you to see how you will grow. One thing a business plan does for you is that it gives you clarity. It helps you to really mainstream what your objective of going into a business is. So, for example, I'm going to business because I need money. My dear, that is not an objective. We all do need money. Money is important, yes. But if, like I said before, if primarily you're into business because you just want to make money, you haven't started. You have a limitation as to how you can grow. So there has to be a deeper need of transformation, a deeper need of value you want to give to your client. And it is that need that will drive your creativity. And it is that need, that objective. That is why you see two persons in the same business, but they have different clienteles. They are doing differently because they all have different objective of being into that same business. Your business plan helps you to clearly articulate this. Think about it. It also helps you to see what your cash flow will look like and where your resources will be coming in from. You need to be very clear. You can't jump into a business without identifying where would your money be coming from. If you just have money, start business, how? Where would the funds come from? What kind of persons will buy from you? And business plan helps you to see how you can segment your growth and plan your expansion. So, good evening, Donye. Nice to have you here. Good evening, Success. Nice to have you here. So what the business plan does for you is it tells you where you would go to in 2 years, in 4 years, in 6 years, in 10 years. And it helps you to put clear milestones. If I achieve 1, 2, 3, then I am ready to move to this level. So if I have not achieved 1, 2, 3, why am I rushing into that other level? Okozima said, you said if we're in the business for money, they would go so fast. So I was like, oh yes, thank you so much. Yes, exactly. It's not just for money. It has to be passion and other things. Great. Thank you for that. So the business plan is very key. Sadly, I see a lot of people do it like they just do it because everybody is talking about business plan. Let me just have a business plan. If that's your mindset of a business plan, then sorry, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you. A business plan is an organic document. You keep updating it as your business grows. And so your business plan can be very simple. I don't even believe in very complicated business plans, because what I have seen with complicated business plans is that it's very difficult for you to follow through. It's very difficult for you to run it yourself. You always need expert advice as to how to do it, because most times you can't even do it yourself. Very simple 2-3 pager business plan, very clear things. What is your business all about? The background to the business you want to establish, the objectives, your strategy, your goals. I always like to segment the goals: short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. Your target audience. Who are your target audience? I'm going to talk about the target audience next week, when we'll be talking about creating a value for your current customer base. There, I'm going to really dwell on target audience. Your target audience are your customers and all of that, prospective customers. We're going to talk about that. Now, if you're very clear on this in your business plan, you won't lose your head about who you're selling to and who is not buying from you. The challenge I see with a lot of women-owned business is we want to sell to everyone. We want everyone to buy from us. And most times we want to sell to our family and friends. Hello, you did not set up your business for your family and friends. If your only clients are your family and your friends, then you need to go back and rework your business plan. Your family and friends, if they buy from you, good, but they cannot be your only clientele. So people get into business and they're just selling from one family to the other. And when they get they will get saturated, my dear, because saturation is a real risk in business. And that's why next week we'll be talking about giving value to your current customer base. And after that, we'll talk about how we can expand your existing market, right? We're going to talk about that. Hi, Princess. Thank you for joining in. Welcome, Nelo. Nice to have you here. So these are very foundational issues in businesses. And if you don't get this right, it is so difficult to grow your business. You will hit saturation points, or you will hit audio points, or you will hit particular risk, and your business will crumble. That's why you see people, they're selling, they're into clothes, they're into fish farming, they're into coaching, they're into everything. My dear, one I see that I know this is a confused mind. I'm being sincere. One of my clients asked once, so why can't I do all the businesses? You cannot do all the businesses. You're stretching yourself thin. And when you stretch yourself thin, you cannot give your best. Every business has an ecosystem. You need to find what is your ecosystem and dig deep. What are the value chains in your ecosystem? Go around, find it, grow on that, leverage on that. Rather than you're shifting from here, you're shifting from there, you're going there. For instance, I started my journey as a consultant. Now, as a consultant, what do? I offer expert advice. I help you identify issues. Mainly, I focus on organizational development, business development, and then personal development. And as a result of years of doing that, I was able to go, because I've been doing a number of research along the line. I found out that I have a thing for research. Research became one of my businesses. So people contract me to do researches for them in the academia, in the business world, in private sector. So it is even government institutions, regional bodies. So it became another source of income that is within my ecosystem. It is not taking me out of my ecosystem. From that ecosystem, I also decided that, I love to coach. Coaching is different, is a very different ballgame from consulting. In consulting, I identify, I solve. In coaching, I mentor as well as coach and hold your hands and help you draw out what is already in you. Consultancy has no place for that. So right now, there is a new wave where we say we're a coach consultant, so that you can be coaching at the same time consulting. Is a new wave. They are all still within my ecosystem. I am not out of my ecosystem. So you need to understand your ecosystem, your business ecosystem, and that needs to come into your business plan. That needs to come into your business plan, and it should come. And don't start off doing everything at once. Remember, I said I started off here. I've been in business for over 25 years. 90% of my business is not online. 95% of my clients are not online. So you also need to know where your clients are. I remember I talked about that. Some are offline, some are online. Know where your business stream is, and you need to be visible in that space, right? You need to be visible in that space. So doing the research will help you do all of this. And as your business grows, as your business grows, you begin to look at what can you leverage on. We're going to talk about how to build meaningful partnerships and also how to expand your business. We're not going to talk about that today. That will be for next one and the upper week. Because there are certain questions you need to ask yourself before boom, you move. I see people, they start off in 1 year, and in 1 year they are running a number of things. You're going to crash. You're going to crash. And there is a level you are in. You cannot put in too much fund into your business. If you put in so much fund into your business, that fund will be stagnant. It will create chaos within that business because your business doesn't have the structure to absorb. It doesn't have the market to absorb. So the money has no role in the business at that point in time. And so when I hear some people say, "Oh, I just need money," no, man, no, sir, you don't just need money now. Before you need money, you need a lot of things to be in place before you start talking about money, right? A question Flotty says, "Could you or anyone here help me with a business idea? One can Could you help me with a business idea one can establish that will flourish without directly managing it?" Now, this is a very good thing that you've asked. This is very interesting. And I want to be candid with you. It's when you have this kind of ideas, there are two things I will ask you. One, is it that you don't want to be an entrepreneur? So you don't see yourself as a business person. That's one. Two, you just want to invest. You want to be an investor. That is a separate thing. And I see a lot of people want to be investors, and that's why we run into all the major investment scams and problems we have here. But not all investments platforms are scams. Banks run investment platforms. Now, in our climate in Nigeria, I want to be very candid because that's why I'm on this platform. It is very difficult to establish a business. You're not running it directly. You hand it over to someone. You must have at least an oversight function. You must have an oversight function because that is primarily the responsibility of a CEO. You can decide you want to be a CEO, a chief executive officer. And what that is you bring in the idea, you bring in the cash, or you bring in the cash, and then you get an expert to run the business. But even when you do that, you would still need to have an oversight function. If not so, you won't get your profits. Remember what I talked about business development? I said we want to grow the business in the long term while making profits. So the business can be growing and you're not making profit because somebody else is taking your money away. So there are other things, other factors we need to discuss before one can say do this business or don't do that business. It's a lot. It's not a simple answer right now. There's a whole lot. It's a conversation that needs to happen. Madam Adenike says, as a matter of fact, no business can flourish without you directly running it. In Nigeria, yes, in Nigeria it's difficult. It's difficult. Unfortunately, it's very difficult because of our value system. There we have this, most people want to get rich quick. Most people don't want to work hard. I'm not saying that we don't have people who want to work hard. We don't have people who have integrity, but there's a lot of challenge around that, right? So it's very difficult. So if you've worked so hard for your money, I won't advise you to throw it away. I won't advise you to throw it away. Even bringing family to run it is even a disaster. It's most times ends up in a disaster. So you really need to be very careful about that. Now, I was talking about the business plan and implementation. So once you've gotten all that ready, the background to your business, your objective, your strategies, who your audience would be, your sources, your projected sources of income, your expenditure, because you're going to have some liabilities. And then you also look at what do you need to get into the market. It has to be your business plan. Do you need to go for some training? What kind of expertise will you need to do business? What kind of structure do you want to run? It's very important. It's very foundational in your business. So most of us start business without thinking about what structure we want to run. Do you want to run a sole proprietorship? Do you want to run a limited liability? Is it going to go into a PLC? It is very important that you think through all of this before establishing your business, because each of this structure has its pros and its cons. And I'm going to talk about that maybe next week or the upper week. We'll talk about some of this, right? So it's important that you think through all of this and put it down. The book of Habakkuk says, write down your vision so that the reader may run with it. It's very important. Business plan is important because when you write it down, it's like your document, is something that drives the business. You make reference to it, you update it. And it's also very important that you do an assessment of your business. I call it the SWOT analysis. The strength of your business, the weakness of your business, the opportunities and the threats. So when you're looking at threats, you will also be looking at, in this climate, in this 21st century, you need to be looking at services, product, technologies that will be coming up that may impact on your business negatively. And you need to have a risk mitigation plan for it. Right? For instance, COVID-19. How did COVID-19 impact on businesses? With COVID-19, we've learned a lot. A lot of businesses that were offline found out that they could actually move online and they were able to transit. So many businesses that did not have a flexible structure collapsed completely, shut down. Not just in Nigeria, globally. I was in London, I looked around, a lot of businesses were shut down, wasn't functioning. Was the same thing in Geneva. In a whole lot of countries, the same thing. Many businesses shut down and could not come up. Why? In their structure, they did not have that flexibility and resistance built in to adapt. So when you're thinking about all of this, even as an existing business owner, look at the shock system you have. Like cars. When you look at cars, we have what we call the shock absorber in the cars. What it does is, when your shock absorber is bad, as you're hitting gallops, you're hitting this, you hear why? The shock absorber is not taking in all those things. So it's the same thing in a business. You need to build a shock around your business to make your business resilient. And that's why I'm starting from this conversation tonight. These are some of the things you need to do to strengthen your business so that your business can remain resilient, so that your business can grow in the long term. Right? And then the profits, your expected profits. You also need to build it. In my business plan, I have trainings that I would go, that my staff will go to, and the costs, operational costs, very important. Operational costs, very, very important. So if you want to build a sustainable business, these are some of the things that you need to put in place. These are foundational. These are very foundational. They are like the pillars, the foundation of your business. So your business do not go the audio way. If you have questions at this point, please put it in the chat box. I'm looking at both phones. If you had questions, put it in the chat box. I'm looking at 8. I'm going to wrap up by talking about team building. I'm going to wrap up talking about team building. So if you have questions, I'm just pausing to see if you have any question. If you have question, you put it in the chat box. If you have comment, you put it in the chat box. And if I don't see that, I will just run right ahead. Now, team building. Team building is very key, because when you recruit, when your business, you need to start thinking about it. Even when you start off as a solopreneur means that you are an entrepreneur and you're the only one running your business. You don't have any form of help. You don't have any form of assistance, either remotely or physically. You do everything yourself, from your bookkeeping to order. You do all of that yourself. Now but I would ask you to think through about it. If you really want your business to grow, there has to be a point where you bring in someone. that would either manage your finances, do your bookkeeping for you. There has to be something, because there are two things. You are the visionary of the business, and there is the technical skills required to run the business. So even when you have a technical skill, for instance, I'm a coach. Being a coach is a technical skill, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I can run a coaching business. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'll take that again. Being a coach is a technical skill, but it doesn't necessarily mean that because I'm a coach, I can run a coaching business, because there is a business, and the business is different from the skill. The skill is part of the business, but the business is different from the skill, because you need to think about the systems, the structure, the team you need in place, the curriculum, all of it. The sales, marketing, partnerships is huge. Is really huge. And when we're talking about business development, we're talking about all of this. How do you sell? How do you market? How do you build a team? How do you evaluate? How do you run your finances? This is the business arm. And so you may be a coach, but you don't want to get involved in these nitty-gritties, or you don't have the skill set to run this. We need to learn that. So that you have the skill set doesn't necessarily mean you have the skill set to run the business, right? So you need to be very clear. And that's why I would always ask you, as a business owner, you need to be clear, what are your skill sets? What are your skill sets? Be very, very realistic about it. And then you need to know when you need to get people with the prerequisite skill set to support your business, even if it's not full-time. Even if it's not full-time. And you mustn't go around pure and start employing 20 people at once, depending on the kind of business you're going into. I'm an advocate for starting small and growing the business, because whether you like it or not, you must make mistakes in business, and it's always better to make small mistakes. It's always easy to correct small mistakes. It's always easy to correct small mistakes. Once you correct those small mistakes, you can expand your business. Right? Very, very important. Very, very important. Now, I also want you to start thinking. Remember, I said at the beginning of our conversation, I want you to situate yourself in this conversation, because I want you to be able to walk away with tangible things you can start implementing right away. And I've talked about a whole lot of things tonight. And I'm hoping that you're picking out things, you're writing them down, you're taking note of them, and you can start implementing. Now, I want to talk about recruiting. Don't be sentimental when you recruit. What we do, I've seen that with a lot of my clients. You recruit people, you employ, you hire, before you start thinking of what their roles and responsibilities would look like. So, for instance, you're running a business, and you just say yourself, I need a sales girl, I need an office assistant, I need a PA. You go ahead, you hire. When you hire the person, you now start struggling with what will be the person's responsibility. You know my advice? Sit down and look at your business need, and look at the current expertise in the business, and look at where the weakness or the gaps are, and then you note it and write it down. So if you want to hire, what will be your priority? What will be your priority? Because I would always advise for small businesses to multitask. You start lean with a lean staff strength, and then you can expand. Don't start with all kinds of people, because sometimes you create redundancy. You have a lot of people, and then you don't know what they're doing. I don't know if any of you have gone to some of the, like, Nigerian system is like that. If you've gone to immigration services, you see a lot of people overflowing everywhere, basically doing nothing. You don't want to create that kind of scenario in your business. So you want to be sure that you're hiring someone that fits the job description. So always make sure that you create a job description. It's usually called JD, job description. Create a job description and find a staff member or a team member that fits the job description, not the other way around. And no sentiments in hiring. So when I've learned the hard way, I've been burnt, so I've learned the hard way. If I need to recruit now, I do my JD, my job description, and I do the skills that I need for that job description. So when you do your job description, what the person will be doing, and then what are the skills the person needs to have? What are the qualifications the person would need to have? Be very clear about it. And run a recruitment process. It doesn't matter. It's your hard-earned money you're giving out. You want to make sure that you're bringing somebody on board your team that can add value to your team. You don't want to bring somebody that is not aligned to your business goals. You want to make sure you're bringing someone into your business that is aligned to your business growth and can grow with your business as well. Don't go and employ your sister, your uncle, your cousin. No, don't do that. Except you want to run your business. You need to have very clear-cut criteria for how you employ, even your employment processes. And then there are some documents, basic documents you need to have as a business. Job description is one of them. Your recruitment process is another one. Your business plan, your organizational organogram for the business when it grows, your exit policy for staff, your leave. So it's a lot of things for any business. It's very important because once you start hiring, it creates a problem. I've been there, I've made those mistakes. I'm talking out of experience. I've been there, I've made those mistakes. Before someone will come to me and say, oh, I have this cousin, she's looking for a job, can you employ her? I say, okay, bring the person. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. If I am not recruiting, I am not recruiting. And if I am recruiting and you come and say, tell the person to apply, let's go through the recruitment process. Because you're doing a great disservice to your business and to yourself. Like I said, the foundation of the business is very important. All these things you feel that are not important, run your business as if you're running a multi-dollar business. You're preparing yourself for that time. You see, habits. When you build all these habits, it comes very handy when your business is growing. If you don't have it, you cannot give it. If you don't have it, you cannot give it. So when you start building all this, it's easy for you when your business starts expanding to just keep rolling these things out. So don't wait until you get there before you start doing these things. There's some basic documents that you need to have as a business owner. You shouldn't start your business without having those documents. And I've rolled out some of them. You need to have them in place before you even start hiring. So these are very fundamental to your business growth. These are very fundamental to even how much profit you make. How can you make profit when you don't even know how much it costs you to run that business? Some of us, as we are selling, we're spending the money. As we're selling, you don't have a business account. Your business account is mixed up with your personal income. Everything is in one account. So everything is in, you don't know which one is your own. You're spending, you sell today, you spend. There has to be a percentage in your business. Every income that comes in goes somewhere. You need to set out a certain percentage for the growing of your business that you plunge back into your business. You just need to plan your business if you want it to grow. It's not easy. That is why they say an entrepreneur is somebody who is willing to take the risk. Who is willing to take the risk. So it's very important. Even yourself, what are your personal development plan for you as a business owner? Then what are your business development plan for the business? What kind of training would you be giving to your staff when they come into the business? What kind of training are you going to give to yourself? Most of us employ people, we do not have plan for how we're going to train them. You just employ people, no onboarding, no checklist, nothing. You get people into your business and you think the business can grow. It's very difficult for that business to grow. So it is important, just wrapping up, it's very important that you have a clear idea. It is really spelled out in your business plan and is documented. And like I said, your business plan is an organic document that needs to be updated as you move along, right? So if you have questions, you can put out. Otherwise, I'll just wrap up at this point. Elzima says, selling and spending the money, big problem, very big problem, very, very big problem. We make money, we're spending it. You don't even know how much your profit is. I have clients. I have clients who are running businesses and the business are not making profit. But because they have extra sources of income, they just keep putting. They keep putting money into the business. They're just running the business with paying people, buying things, and it's not giving them any profit at all. We don't want to run that kind of business. If you're a vendor, if you're an entrepreneur, you're in business because one, you want to create value. Two, you want to make profit. Three, you want to create a legacy. You want to build a legacy. These are the three key things that drives you into business. You're passionate about it. And it's that passion that makes you do these things and much more. Money cannot just be the driving force. If money is the only driving force for you being in business, then you haven't started. Your business can't grow beyond a certain level. So I do hope that you got a lot of value. This is just the beginning. Next week, we're going to be talking about how you can give value to your customer base, how you can increase the value you give to your customer base, where we're going to talk about how do you identify who your target audience are and how you work with them, how you expand the value you give to them. That will be our conversation for next week. And then if you have any specific question to that regards, you can hit me up before the show and I'll try to talk to it. Or you can, within the show, just put your question down and I'll try to respond to your question. I do hope that you got a lot of value, right? I hope you got value. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you got value. Oh, thank you. I love this. And Jessica says, power-packed topic. Thank you so much, Mom. I got great value. Ogechiku says, this is value. Ozioma says, so much value. I love the topic. I'm glad that you do love the topic. This is just the beginning of our engagement this month. And you know, May is our anniversary month. On the 22nd of May, the Friday night hangout will be 2 years. So I'm super excited, and that's why I had this power pack topic for the month of May. This is me giving back in the month of May, the anniversary month. And we're going to move the anniversary celebration to the month of June. You know, June is my birth month. A lot of things happen in the month of June. So we're going to have our 100 episode celebration and our second year anniversary celebration on the 10th of June. I want you to block the date. It's going to be a hybrid event. I'm going to invite a selected number of persons. It's going to be a small audience to the in-person celebration, and then we'll have the rest virtually, right? We're going to have I'm going to also launch the Friday night hangout book. So I want you to expect the book. The book is a compilation of all the topics we've had for a period of 12 to 14 months. I'm just going to condense it and then have it in a book format so you can have it handy. So June 10th, please mark the date. We're gonna have a lot of good time together. Oh God, I'm so happy about the feedback. Sister says so much value. Rosemary, so much value. And Jideka said, I recorded for reference. This is amazing. I love you. You're very proactive. That's good. You can also watch the replay. Ozioma said, God bless you, my prof, coach, mentor. Shola said, clear distinction between personal and business finances. Beautiful. I'm so happy. Madam Adenike said, yes, value, value, value. Thank you, Professor J. Thank you so much. I am happy that you got value from tonight's show because I've had a lot of questions. How have you managed to grow your business? How have you managed to grow your business? I remember I've shared my story with you, how I lost everything in 2010. Everything. Zero. No money, nothing. Lost everything completely. And I've been able to grow a multi-dollar business. It's not a joke. It takes a lot of skill set, consistency, and having the right tools and the right mindset. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you in the month of May. So if you're ready to take your business to that next level, it's not about what people see. Beyond that, you know if your business is valuable or not. You know. I keep telling myself, Joy, you're a money magnet. What I touch grows. Whatever I put my hands on grows. I'm a money magnet. One of my skill set is fundraising. One of my skill set is growing things. Anything that comes to my hand, I grow. I nurture. I'm a nurturer. So you need to also know where your skill set is and apply it to your business. It's not about what you want to put out. Most times we are so focused on what we want people to see that we forget to do the real work that makes your business sustainable. And that's what I want us to do in the month of May. If you're already running a business, go back, look at your business, and improve the business. And this may also be a point to revalidate for you. It's just validation of what you're doing right. So maybe you're already on the right track. Fine, this validates it. But this is just beautiful free content I'm pointing out to you. Now, before I wrap up, we're running behind schedule. I want to take this opportunity to invite you to the She Speaks Forum. If you haven't registered for the She Speaks Summit, then you're missing. This is just an ice tip of what we're going to be discussing at the She Speaks Summit that will be happening in Lagos, June 24th to 25th. Honestly, when I think about the She Speaks Summit on happening June 24th and 25th, I literally get chills. I'm finalizing the agenda and I see what is happening. I'm coming ready to pour out into her. I know that there are a lot of women who you appear to be so productive, but within you, you're second guessing yourself. You're asking yourself, are you doing the right thing? You feel like you're not valuable. You feel like you're a fake. You're not authentic. If you are her, come prepared to the She Speaks Summit. The first day we're going to be looking at personal development. We're going to just unpack personal development. And the second day we're going to look at the business development in greater details. This is just a tip. The second day we're going to focus on a lot of personal development areas. We're going to look at sales, marketing, branding, storytelling. Is a whole lot. And then we're also going to be looking at professional development. So if you're in a career, if you're in a profession and you're not in business and you want to grow, then you need to be at the She Speaks Summit. Chinelo says, I got great value times for very tactical and mind-blowing training. God bless you, ma, for the mentoring. You're welcome. Ozema says, walk the walk for your business to grow. That's it. You have to do there's no shortcuts. If you want to grow your business, please put away the idea of shortcuts. There is no shortcut, there is no quick fix. You have to work in the business before you work on the business. So you work in the business grows to a certain level, you want now start working on the business, meaning that you're bringing your creative ideas and all of that. You can now become the CEO. I see a lot of people just CEO. What are you CEO? Meanwhile, you don't have a viable business. So we want to make sure we have a solid structure. We want to make sure we have a business that can outlive you. If that's the goal you want to, then I can help you do that. That's one of my skill sets as a coach. If you want to have executive coach, you want to have one-on-one with me, just hit me up. You can just DM me on my Facebook page, either on my personal Facebook page or my business Facebook page, and I will help you walk the walk. Now, the She Speaks Forum, no shortcut, no quick fix, my dear. You have to do the work. And if you want to be in the She Speaks, come prepared. Next week, I'm going to be making you an offer. I'm going to make you an offer. I don't have an offer for you tonight. But next week, I'm going to make you an offer for the She Speaks Summit. And I want you see, sometimes I tell you from experience, when I look at all I'm experiencing now, and I look at all I'm able to achieve, I know what it takes because I've worked that work. It's not a shortcut, it's not a quick fix. You need to be able to do the work. And you need to be able to invest in yourself. It's beyond free content. You need to be able to move mountains. You need to show up for yourself big time. And that's what I'm asking you to do with the She Speaks Summit. Currently, we have only 20 spots remaining. 20 spots remaining. And I'm going to make an offer next week to fill up those 20 spots. You could be one of them. So come next week. I'm going to make an offer to you next week. All right? No quick fix. So I hope you got value. I want to see TGIF, TGIF, TGIF as we wrap up TGIF, TGIF. Thank you so much for joining in. And I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much. I'm glad you got content. Make it a date with me next week, Friday. It's going to be another mind-blowing content. It's going to be a powerful content next week, Friday. Come prepared for another exciting episode of the Friday. I'm talking about She Speaks Summit. I'm already in the She Speaks Summit mode, right? So come prepared next week, and it's amazing content next week. And come prepared for the gifts. I love to give gifts. So come prepared next week for the gift I'm going to give you next week. and come prepared for our conversation next week. Thank you very much. I hope you got value. Please do share this video to people who would find it of value, because I know there are a lot of content in it, and make it a day to join us next week Friday. Until I see you next week Friday, it's bye for now. I love you, I honor you, and I celebrate you. Keep being you, and remember that life is a journey. If it hits you down, rest, get up, and get back on your track. You don't have to give up. And that's why I say I am too focused to give up. I'm not giving up now. I'm not giving up tomorrow. I'm not giving up forever. I will stay on my track, on my God given purpose and mandate. No one says it's going to be easy. It requires a lot of work, but I know you can do it and you have what it takes to surmount that barriers. So make it a point of duty to enjoy your Friday night, to enjoy your weekend. And I pray that God blesses the works of your hand. God blesses everything you put your hands on and will cause it to thrive and will give you mighty, powerful testimonies. Now, when we come back next week, Friday, I want to hear from some of you what you started implementing. I love to give assignments. So when you come back next week, Friday, I want to hear from some of you what you've implemented in the last couple of days. So see you next week, Friday. From me to you, I love you. Bye for now.